If you've had a strong desire to maybe start some kind of online business, online presence, etc., but the tech has kept you from doing it because maybe you're telling yourself, I'm just not a tech person. Well, this is for you.
Hey, everyone. Becky here. Welcome back to the Modern Direct Seller podcast. I'm so thrilled you're with us today because today you're in for a real treat. We're doing something a little bit different here on the podcast today, and I'm actually sharing an episode with you where I was the guest over on Megan Sumrell's Work-Life Harmony podcast. Now, Megan is a dear friend of mine. We have connected on so many levels. She's been on my podcast. I've been on hers. We're doing some collaborating together. And if you're not listening into her podcast, this is your friendly nudge to check it out. She's talking all things time management and planning. I know that you will fall in love with her. So to give you a little taste of what it was all about when I was over on her podcast, today I'm going to share that episode with you. And we talked about all the things from managing life and multiple businesses and working in partnership with my husband, our new venture into Oh My High. So I'm really excited for you to maybe hear things a little bit different as I get to be interviewed from Megan over on her podcast. So with that said, let's go ahead and listen in. Have a great one.
Hey, everyone. Welcome back to Work-Life Harmony. I have a guest that, man, Becky, you were on the show. I think it's been a few years now. Yeah, I invited Becky to come back on the show today. One, for selfish reasons, because I want to pick her brain a little bit on how some of her time management strategies, especially as it relates to boundaries, juggling both a business and kids, young kids. And also, I'm really excited to dig into and hear more about this new business that you and your husband have launched together, because I know it is going to open up a wealth of possibility for so many of our listeners that maybe have a desire to have some type of a business. So welcome back, Becky. I would love for you to introduce yourself.
Well, thanks, Megan, for having me. I am so happy to be back here on the podcast. And yeah, so a little bit about my background. I spent 10 years in a marketing position, doing marketing strategy for a leadership training company. Fell on accident in love with the direct sales industry, started a couple of direct sales businesses that were wildly successful, made another big shift in my business, and shifted to building the Modern Direct Seller, which is a training company. I support individual direct sellers as well as corporate clients in helping them be successful in their business, giving them sales strategies, giving them marketing strategies. And most recently, just launched Oh My High, as Megan mentioned, which is an all-in-one website, email marketing, CRM that we just saw a huge gap in the market for. So my husband and I work together in both of our businesses. We are in sunny San Diego, have a 12-year-old girl, a 10-year-old boy, spend most weekends at the ball fields or running from one kid activity to another, usually with a coffee in the hand. A little bit of always on the go, and just absolutely love it. Love creating impact, love working with like-minded women, love connecting with others just like you, Megan, that are doing incredible things in this industry. And yeah, that's pretty much it in a nutshell. How about that?
So not much. You're not doing much.
Yeah, I got a lot of free time over here.
Oh yeah. Now, one of the things that I found fascinating, so Becky lives on the West Coast, I'm on the East Coast, and whenever Becky and I try and connect for a phone call or something, you think it would be a lot easier than it is. But what I'd love to hear a little bit more about is your boundaries with your time in terms of managing work versus home life. Because of our different time zones, it was hysterical because we both, I feel, have pretty strict boundaries on this is when I'm not working because this is when I want to be with my family. And hours with the time zone are at polar opposites. So finally we're like, all right, we're both going to have to like figure something out. And so Becky very kindly is doing this much earlier than she normally would be on in her world. So how do you as an entrepreneur, as a mompreneur, it can be really challenging to establish non-working time. How do you manage that?
Well, I feel like I've gone through lots of seasons of this. Like if you asked me this question 5 years ago, it would look totally different than what it looks like today. But I'll tell you what it looks like today and maybe how that has changed over the years, because there's definitely been years when my kids were really little, my business was new. I really had no idea what I was doing. Don't tell everyone else. But, you're just trying to like fake it.
You know what you're saying, yeah.
And I was working 24/7. And obviously that is not sustainable. That was not where I wanted to be. So I feel like I've had to work really, really hard at introducing boundaries and sticking to boundaries and being clear about when I'm working and when I'm not. So for me, I typically work from 9 to 2 most days, Monday through Friday. And that's pretty much when my kids are at school. So I rushed here this morning after walking the kids to school to drop off the littles at elementary school. And typically I don't work from 8 to 9 a.m. because I need just a minute to like get home, get situated, like do my yoga, have my coffee before I, adult and people talk and do all those things. And then at the end of the day, my husband does pick up, which is nice, but we have so many after school sports. Like it's almost immediately once my kids are home that we're headed to a practice. So we're headed to bringing one kid to Girl Scouts and another one to the ball field. And we're kind of going opposite directions quite often. So typically my day ends at 2:00 Pacific time. And I like to think that I have pretty strong boundaries on that 9 to 2. But the reality is, like Megan and I were chatting before we clicked record, like I'm leaving on vacation tomorrow and I'm going to go play for the next couple of days. So I have a little bit of a fuller schedule yesterday and today to squeeze things in, but I'm making those choices intentionally. I'm not just letting others own my calendar and tell me where I need to be and when.
What about evenings, like after dinner? Are you pretty much done working at night?
I can't say like 100% of the time, but I'd say like 80% of the time I am done at the end of the day. And sometimes I can check email or catch up and ClickUp or like do some of those more admin type tasks in the evening. But I honestly don't like to, because I think as I get older too, my brain just starts spinning that I'm thinking about all the things I need to do and I don't sleep well. So one thing that's really helped with that, and I know this isn't a solution for everyone, but we did a big home office edition last year. And so when I sit down to work, I intentionally have to walk up the stairs, turn the lights on, sit down at my desk away from the rest of my family. And when we built that edition, what I didn't realize would happen was a new boundary would be created. Because it was one thing just to pull out your laptop while your kids are watching TV and hop in and do a couple things real quick. But when you have to leave the room, leave the space, go up the stairs, just that habit of shifting into work mode is like, that's really helped over the last year for us too.
Oh, I love that. I know when I was breaking my working at night habit, I would shut down my computer at 2:00 when I was done work. So I'm like, oh, but now I got to boot the whole thing up. Yeah, forget it.
And that's a pain, right?
And
Open
now,
all the tabs again.
Yeah, exactly. And now I will say, I think menopause is a gift in that I just can't work at night. Like my body's like, and we're done. Like we out. And if you try, you're just going to sit there and stare at a blank screen. So
awesome. 100%. And I mean, like I said, there's some flexible boundaries there. Like when push comes to shove, work is getting done. Like there's some things that are like, got to get that podcast out tomorrow. Got to make sure that email goes, and a little bit of evening work that creeps in here and there. But I really try not to. I really, really try hard not to.
I love that. I love it. Now you work with your husband. Have you guys always been entrepreneurs together, or was this something newer?
I mean, I will say Jeremy has always supported my entrepreneurial efforts. So even when he had a full-time job as an electrical engineer for a defense contractor and went to work at 7 a.m. and came home at 6 p.m., he was still in the background helping, whether it was packing my car for an event or watching the kids while I would go out and do a show, or helping me with my website behind the scenes. So he's always been involved in our business. But in 2020, he officially stepped away from his engineering job after 15 years and made the leap into entrepreneurship with me. So for the last 5 years, we have worked side by side. And I say side by side, meaning we work in the same office side by side, but people are always like, do you guys talk all day? And I'm like, no, we have one meeting a week together. We do not hang out at work. Like one meeting a week, we do a team meeting together and we're both in that call together. And we eat lunch together and we go for a walk together. And of course, we're talking business, but he has his lane of the business, which is finance, operations, legal, tech. And I have my lane of the business, which is sales and marketing. And content creation, right? So we have very clear differences in work style, personality, expertise. So we work really well together, but it's not like we're, sitting on each other's lap typing together each day.
I'm so intrigued when I hear about, couples that work together, because my initial instinct is like, we'd kill each other. Thinking about like my husband and I were together.
They're always like, you must really like him. Like you must really like your husband.
But it's interesting the way you described that with those lanes. I was like, I think my husband and I have very similar working styles.
Yeah.
And I was like, if there was a true delineation of don't cross this line, I don't cross that line. I'm like, yeah. Maybe we could. Maybe we could.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And I mean, we use systems in our business, right? So like we use ClickUp and I chat with him in ClickUp and I assign tasks to him and he kicks things back to me. Like we were working in parallel, but I mean, we're not sitting together, collaborating and working together, except, that one team meeting. And then we usually take like a day a quarter just to like, okay, let's have a strategy day.
Yeah.
Let's map out what the next 3 months look like on a big picture scale.
Right. Oh, amazing. Amazing. All right. So I'm really excited to dig into a little bit more about your new business because I know so many of the women in my community are either, have a desire to start a business. Maybe they currently have one, but they're like, oh, I'd like to grow it a little bit. And the number one complaint outside of time, which I can teach people how to control their time to make the space for it. The very next thing is tech. I hear time and time again, but I don't do tech. I don't know tech. I'm uncomfortable with tech. And 99% of the time, if you want to start an online business, you're going to need to have some way for people to find you, see, which means a website, whether it's a landing page, a full website, whatever that looks like. Yeah. And I see that being what prevents people from pursuing this dream. And so they either stop and just say, forget it, or they go spend a lot of money hiring someone to build something that then they themselves can't maintain ongoing. And so it becomes cost prohibitive. So I was so intrigued when I heard about your new business, Go My High, because I was like, oh my goodness, you've cracked this code and you have something that I think is amazing. So I would love for you to tell everyone kind of what this looks like. How does it work? What is it offering for women?
Yeah.
Well, and men, but obviously I'm going to be excited about the women part.
Right. Well, I'll back it up just a tiny bit. So fun fact, the first course I ever launched was all around how to create your own website.
Was it really? I did not know that.
It kind of flopped. That's probably why you never heard about it. But people saw what I was doing in my own business and they saw my website and then people were like, well, how did you do this? And I'm like, well, I mean, I use WordPress and I got a techie husband that kind of helps out a little bit over here. So we created this course about launching your website. It was using WordPress and Divi and all of these plugins and systems. And there are so many screen records. And I mean, it was a solid course, but at the same time, it was complicated. It was real complicated. And people were successful. They launched their website. Other people were like, this is really hard. Right.
Yeah.
So I totally understand that feeling of like, I've invested in something. I want to do this. I can't afford it. I don't want to deal with the tech headache. This is too hard. This is too scary. This is too intimidating. I don't even know what to say on this website. And so that was where we started. And after learning more about our audience, which I would say it's similar to yours, Megan, like very entrepreneurial, go-getters, a lot of women in our audience, but also people that are like, I'm not a techie. Like, I can use technology, but like creating something from scratch feels near impossible. Yeah. So Jeremy worked on creating this website called Oh My Hi. And when we created that, we basically launched it for one of our corporate clients that kept seeing people putting out ugly websites. They were like, this is off brand. This is not good. Can you help them? And we're like,
sure.
Why not? So we put together this little offer. It's kind of been like the sad little stepchild of the business for a while, where we're like, oh, we're not really giving it a ton of love over here, but people are using it. This is great. And the more people started using it, the more they were like, well, this is cool, but how do we add blog functionality? How do we add a landing page? Is there any way we could do email marketing here too? What about a CRM? So it went from literally just a fill in the blank website to a fully functional, all-inclusive, all-in-one website offering that includes unlimited pages, unlimited forms, unlimited blogs, unlimited contacts, and email marketing. So we realized that so many people don't want to have 14 different subscriptions to get one thing done. And we were able to kind of put it all under one roof. And one thing that I think is really different about Oh My Hi than maybe other website offers that are out there, because there are other simple systems available, is that we know our people, and we know they don't want to talk to a chatbot. And we know that many of them literally want to learn. They want to understand, how do I clean up this section on my website? Or how do I add an image here? Or where would you grab the embed code for a video? So we spend a lot of time working with our Oh My Hi community. We do live support every week. We respond within 24 hours to any emails sent. And oftentimes when somebody asks a question, rather than just giving them a 18-step list of how to do it, which we have, we also just make the change for them. And we say, hey, Megan, I getcha. Yeah, I see that that's off center. Let me show you how we fix it. Here's a screen share. We're moving this here. We added that there. You're good to go. And if you want to do it in the future, here's the 18-step process on how to do that yourself. So we're really, really hands-on with our community, which I think is a big differentiator in the tech space.
Oh, 100%. Because a couple things that stand out to me with what you're offering that is such a differentiator. So, I built my business before Go My Hi was out, but I use an all-in-one platform as well for people that are a little unsure what all that tech lingo means. So it's like my website, all the courses that I sell. And then when you're talking about email marketing, meaning if you want to get my newsletter or, get my weekly emails, you've somewhere on a form on my website said, here's my name, here's my email. Yes, I would like to hear from you. So all in this one platform, I can now decide who I want to send emails to and communicate with. And I didn't start that way. I started with, I think, 6 different platforms and just got to the point where I was like, the expense was through the roof and then the headaches. So for people listening that are like, oh, maybe you have a website on WordPress, but now you're using ActiveCampaign or MailChimp, but then you've got this other thing over here, like the time and the cost savings of moving to an all-in-one platform, you cannot beat it. And then to your point, the support. So I know some of my tech platforms, it's the instant and you just want to go, I don't want to spend 15 minutes chatting with a robot to finally have them go, let me give you to a real person. Like, human person 00, whatever that version is. And especially if you're new, this is your first website, knowing that there's a human and not only a human, but the one who built the thing on the back end going, we got you. It's a game changer. So I think you guys are coming in and offering a solution that I haven't seen. Because people always ask me like, well, where should I go? I'm like, I don't know where to send you. That's an all-in-one solution. Because, what I'm using is overkill for what they may need.
They don't need all those bells and whistles, especially when you're first starting out. Like you do. You need a place 100%. To capture your lead. You need a place to share your products and services. And one thing that I'll say that is interesting just around kind of the platform and how we've developed it is that we do have templates. So if you're like, I don't know what to put at the top of my website, or I don't know what I would even think about putting in the middle. So you start with a template and it's kind of Mad Lib style, like fill in the blank here where you just put your words in, you drag and drop your images in. So that's really fun. And then the other piece of it that I think is really cool too, is that when you're on the back end, you can, see what that's going to look like before clicking it live and there's other people that are using the platform. So they're sharing, hey, this is what I did. And this is why I did it this way. And then people are like, oh, I want a page that looks like that. So it is really neat to see how you can kind of fill in the blank and how simple and easy it is to use.
Especially when you can collect a community who are all on the same tech platform together, sharing what they're doing with one another. It just elevates everybody's experience and everything that they're doing. I am so thrilled with what you're doing. And so for everyone listening, if you are like, oh, yes, I'm that person that has been wanting the website, or I'm currently paid someone to build me a thing on WordPress and now I have to pay them $500 every time I want to change one line.
I know.
I'm going to put a link in the show notes to Go My High. So that way everyone knows, because I want you to you've got a ton of different offerings out there that are fantastic, full, like, I got this, I do it myself, all the way to, you know what, Becky, why don't you and your team just do the whole darn thing for me? So I love that you offer that whole breadth as well. What is I didn't tell you I was going to ask you this. What is your vision for this new company?
I'm excited about it because it's really different than what we've done in the past. I've done content creation, I've done courses, I've done memberships, I've done a lot of hands-on consulting and one-on-one support. And when we think about Oh My High and the direction that we're going with it, it is taking kind of the best of that world, the community aspect, the collaboration, the idea sharing, the high-touch relationship-based business, and marry that with, now I'm a tech CEO. Which is also like, ooh, didn't see that one coming. So that's been a little bit of a shift in how I've thought about things. But we're really excited to partner with specific niches. So this is one thing that is also kind of unique, is obviously I know direct sellers. I know what they need. I know what their template looks like. But now we're launching it for authors. So, okay, here's the author template. You're going to link out to Amazon for people to buy your book. And there's a page for your book series. And there's pages for individual titles, things that are really unique to your niche. We're partnering up with lactation consultants and those in health and wellness. Okay, their call to action is to book a consultation. So there's going to be some specific HIPAA rules. There's going to be some things that are different in that audience than it is going to be for this audience. So our vision is really to create this platform where we have specific templates carved out for each niche. So you can just log in and say, yeah, that's me. I want that template. Now I'm going to adjust the colors. Now I'm going to adjust the fonts. Now I'm going to drag and drop my own photos in. I'm going to infuse my personal brand, but it's not starting with a blank piece of paper. It's giving you the starting point, right? The template to get things going so you can easily get it up quick. And I always say, a website's never done. Never done. No. It's never going to be done.
Yeah. For anyone who thinks they're going to build their website and go, well, that's done. You're going to wake up tomorrow and go, and now I want to change that. And now
I want to add that page. Or wouldn't it be cool to do this? So I always say, get your homepage done, get your about page done, and get your contact page done. If you have those three things done, we are calling you launched. We are sending you happy mail. We are tossing the confetti. We're popping the bubbly. You have launched your site. And then you can layer in more from there. And then you can layer in more from that. And it can just continue to grow as you're building out more and more content. And your business evolves. That's the reality too. Eventually you might be like, oh, I don't want to share that anymore. I want to reposition myself as an expert doing this or that. So it can kind of grow with you, which is a lot of fun too.
Yeah. And I love that you brought that up, which is why I always cringe when someone's like, well, I'm hiring someone to do my website. The first thing I tell them, I was like, you know that you will continue to pay them after it's been launched. Yeah. No. They're just going to build it. I'm like, but if you can't maintain it, and I promise you, you will want to be changing it and tweaking it on the regular. Like, be aware of what you're getting yourself into. So I love that you are providing that platform that's going to empower people to do that, to come in and add and tweak and play. It's so important. And I think, well, I don't think I know, because I came from tech for over 20 years. I believe what's going to make this a game changer is the fact that you did not start as a tech CEO. And so you're bringing the human connection and the real world into technology instead of being a tech geek who's trying to force people to use the technology. And so this is why when I was looking at it, I'm like, oh, this is beautiful. It is so easy to get up and going on because of you went in that direction, which I think again is a real differentiator for you guys.
Oh, I love that. I love that. And I think it's like anything new, it's growing and it's evolving. And that's one thing that maybe we're doing a little different now that this is our second business, right?
Right.
The first business, I feel like everything I had to be really buttoned up before I would share it or I'd put it out there. I'd have to like really look like I'm the expert. Like, let me show you how great this is. And with Oh My High, we've kind of been like, all right, this is a work in progress. Like we're going
together
for it. You're using it. Oh, you need that functionality? Okay, hold on. Let's see what we can do. Let's see if we can build that out. Or wait, this part's a little confusing. Okay, let's change that. So there's some things that we're doing in this business that I feel like we're kind of just running with it. We're not necessarily waiting until everything is tested and perfect and proven. We're really building with our community in real time, and they're seeing that growth. They're seeing the changes that are coming every single week. We're like, new functionality, like now you can do this, or oh, we heard everyone wants a template like that. We've created it. It's there for you. So those are some of the things that I think are really fun about being in that startup mode. But not only being in startup mode, but startup mode for business number 2. Because I think business number 1, you're like, oh, I have everything perfect.
Yeah, everything has to be. It's kind of like the second child, right? Yeah, they're good. They can eat it off the floor.
Before we can figure it out.
And there's a benefit of being, because I've been like in beta programs for technology.
Yeah.
There's a benefit into being on the consumer side of that. Because you get a strong voice in that platform and you get to help shape it. And oftentimes, if you sit down and, if you sit down and build a site in WordPress and you're like, oh, I really want this thing changed. You aren't typing into the CEO of WordPress and having them roll out something for you in 48 hours, right? So there's a benefit in getting it early with that, which
very
I think is
true.
awesome.
Yeah. There's so many things where I'm like, hey, did we tell everyone that? We updated that. Did we we got to let everyone know. So every week our features update, our emails, our community, we're like, and this is what happened this week. And this is what we're working on for next week. So that's been really, really fun. And I feel like that kind of takes me back into the creative space again of like, okay, what do people need? What are they looking for? Like, what is going to resonate with them in terms of the messaging that we're putting out there or the benefits of the platform? So it's been really fun. It's been a fun journey so far. And I'm excited that this is a focus for us because for so long, it was like a little side thing that we were like, oh yeah, we have it, but it's like we got too much going on over here to talk about it. So this year, the shift in focus has been very, very clear for us, which is fun.
Oh, I am so excited for you. And I really wanted to get you on the show to share that. I think it's such an amazing opportunity for folks out there. And also just to get a peek into real world life of, running 2 businesses and family at the same time. There's so many different ways of doing it. So thank you for sharing your time before your usual working hours with us here today. I appreciate it so much. Guys, go check out Go My High. We're going to share the links everywhere, and congrats. I'm super excited for you guys.
This episode is sponsored by CintShare. CintShare is the #1 social media scheduler for direct sellers and loved by creators in any industry. It's truly your one-stop shop for all things social. Join hundreds of thousands of social sellers and entrepreneurs who turn to CintShare for free social media training and resources. Get started today with your free 30-day trial at moderndirectseller.com/CintShare.